I've gone for TJ Parker from Clemson. As I said, I did really struggle with it, but he is a bendy, explosive edge rusher with sudden burst, violent hands, and he's capable of generating consistent pressure and finishing plays at the quarterback level. Look, he didn't have the best 2025 that we would have hoped for. I had him as the number one prospect going into this year. I was well too high in hindsight, even if he'd had a good year, but his production fell off a cliff, although the underlying numbers suggest that he was kind of similar. So he got 41 pressures in 2025, 51 in 2024, 16 hits in 2025, 22 the year before, and his pressure rate was just a percent either way. I think when people might be surprised I have TJ Parker this high. I think when we're talking about TJ Parker, we need to bring out an old Draft Talk favourite, and that's the bin, if anyone's got one handy. And the 2025 Clemson Tigers season is going in the bin, because at this point, what do we have to do to evaluate these Clemson players? Because whether it's Parker, whether it's Peter Woods, Avion Terrell, Antonio Williams, Kate Klubnik, they were all meant to be fighting to be the number one prospect taken at their position, and it just didn't happen. The season completely fell apart. So I think the context is really going to matter when it comes to talking about Clemson players between now and, to be honest, even into their rookie season. But what jumped out on tape with TJ Parker and why I maybe have him ahead of some other players, which we may end up speaking about, is the explosive first step. He's naturally bendy at 260 pounds, which is heavier than some of the other guys. He's got a legit pass rush plan, which you see in action in terms of sacks in 2024. How many? It was 11 sacks in 2024, was just 5 in 2025. But as I've just explained there, that needs to be taken into context. I just think that his ability to play with timing, with leverage, he has the counters. We just didn't see enough of it in 2025. So I think you go back and watch the 2024 tape, which was exceptional, and say I've toyed around with it, but in the end I've stuck with my gut, hoping maybe for a James Pierce type resurgence here, where he had a bad year and then went on to be outstanding as a rookie. But I just think TJ Parker is a better overall prospect, not necessarily a better overall player at this point than a couple of the others, which we'll get into and it'll become clearer as we go on. There maybe are some safer evaluations out there which I've let out, but at £260, I think he's sturdy, thick, quick off the snap. Weaknesses, he struggled to corner consistently this year and he got stuck on blocks a lot more. I wonder what the impact was there with the Clemson guys. It could be a little bit of added weight, but his get-off was impacted, and I think that's the guys he was surrounded by, and the kind of the lack of the twitch there. But his pass rush win rate is high. He converts tackles. I'm just confident that he would be a really good first-round pick and will be a long-time NFL player.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said there, and I don't think you've got him too highly because I have him as number 5 as well.
Okay, good.
So yeah, we've hit off pretty well.
Yeah, he seems to have fallen off, but I think we're recording this after
I think
the
he's
Senior
someone who's
Bowl.
going
I
to.
think that's helped a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think TJ Parker is someone who's going to bounce back up boards a little bit again. He
Yeah.
was, if you do these, you see these way too early mock drafts. TJ Parker was top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Now he's dropping sometimes out of first rounds, but I think he's going to spring back up into that first round conversation. He's still an exciting player for me. He's a twitchy, explosive athlete, and he's got really good short area quickness. He's athletic. He has got good bet. He's not a Von Miller type bender, but he's a lot bendier than some of these other type of guys we see. I think he's got a really explosive get off. He plays with power and leverage, and converts that speed to power very well. He's got more than one pass rush move. He uses a various swipes, chops, counters, and he can set a reasonably strong edge because he's a bigger guy as well. You know, he has that over some of the other guys we might talk about later as well. And he's good at diagnosing plays, and he can change his direction mid rush. He does say he's got a range of movements. He sometimes does rely a bit too much on power, but I think he can develop his plan. Block recognition and getting off the blocks you talked about, Owen, is maybe something that he needs to just work on a little bit. But I think he could play in a various type of schemes because he's slightly bigger than some of these guys, but he's quick enough to play on a slightly wider formation as well. So you could easily see him playing all three downs
Yeah,
for a team at that edge, and I think he's just been stuck on a team that hasn't been good, and I think the collective has brought him down. Um, he might have played better on a better team. I don't know, but again, you've got to think he's got to have just been his best, regardless of how the rest of them around him. But it is hard on that line if the whole team is having a bad season. It's not easy to have a good season as well. But I think he is someone who will project very well, and I would happily back end of the first round. I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised at all seeing TJ Parker come off then.
Yeah, I find that the Clemson guys, they just all seemed there was no collective team unit philosophy there. It was you're evaluating that. So I wonder whether Parker, although he has this Parker's plan, was effectively just working on instinct and almost
Yeah.
they all just seemed like they were hoping for the best. There was no bouncing off each other. They were all um, just not working to the same timing. So I
Yeah,
think
it just seemed like they were all doing their own thing and just,
yeah,
yeah, okay, oh, all right, okay, I'm going to have to go now, or,
yeah.
oh, he's gone that way, I'm going to. There didn't seem to be cohesion in that unit at all.
Yeah, there was no way that you could have the twitchiest edge rusher in there, and I don't think they would have seen massive success. They might have been better, of course, but I don't think that would have changed the success of that unit and the defense.